Marcus with us. Federer advances. The handshake will be warm.
Is Roger Federer the greatest tennis player of all time? His 20 Grand Slam titles, countless victories, and unforgettable rivalries make a strong case. Like anyone else, Federer has had his bad days, even losing the match of his career, and yet he was still always more than just a tennis player. Today, we're diving into his incredible journey to explore what truly set him apart and answer the big question, just how remarkable was Roger Federer really? Federer's early life. Roger Federer was born on August 8, 1981 in Basel, Switzerland to a Swiss father, Robert Federer, from Berneck in St. Gallen, and a South African mother, Lynette Federer. He holds both Swiss and South African citizenship and has an older sister, Diana, who is the mother of twins. As children, Federer and Diana accompanied their parents, who worked for Ciba Geigy Pharmaceuticals, to the company's tennis courts, where Federer first played tennis at age 3. By 6, he was already excelling among his peers, and at 8, he joined the Old Boys Tennis Club in Basel for elite junior training. His first coach, Czech-born Adolf Kachovsky, influenced Federer's one-handed backhand, inspired by Federer's idols Stefan Edberg, Boris Becker, and late Pete Sampras. From ages 8 to 10, he trained with Kachovsky before moving to Australian coach Peter Carter, whom he credits for his technique and calm demeanor on the court. Federer played various sports including football, basketball, and tennis, which he particularly loved, helping him develop a strong hand-eye coordination. In 1993, he won the U12 Swiss National Junior Championships, which led him to focus solely on tennis, leaving football behind by age 12. He also served as a ball boy at the Swiss Indoors Basel, receiving a medal from Michael Stich in 1993. Between 1995 and 1997, Federer trained at the Swiss National Tennis Center in Ecublens, where he learned French. He completed his education in 1997 at La Planta Secondary School in Chavannes-Pré-Renan, graduating with a certificate in commercial studies. By the time he retired in 2022, everyone could agree that Federer was the complete player. His techniques and movements were simply out of this world, and he played every single game with so much grace. But before his retirement, our man had a pretty impressive career. Let's check it out, huh? In 1995, at age 13, Federer won the U14 Swiss National Junior Championship and began training at the National Tennis Center in Ecublens. Struggling with homesickness and the language barrier, he credits this period for fostering his independence. At 14, he entered his first ITF junior match, and by 1998, he reached for the top as the world's #1 junior, winning Wimbledon's boys singles and doubles titles and the US Open Junior Final. Federer debuted on the ATP Tour in 1998 at the Swiss Open and made his first ATP match later that year. By 1999, he entered the top 100, and in 2000, he made his Olympic debut, reaching the semifinals. In 2001, he won his first singles match in Milan and gained international recognition by defeating Pete Sampras at Wimbledon. In 2002, Federer reached his first Masters final in Miami, won his first Masters title in Hamburg, and climbed to world number 6. The loss of his coach, Peter Carter, later that year spurred him to play with a renewed focus. In 2003, he won his first Grand Slam at Wimbledon and ended the year ranked number 2. In 2004, Federer dominated the tennis scene by winning 3 Grand Slam titles, becoming the first player since Mats Wilander in 1988 to do so in a single season. His victories included the Australian Open, Indian Wells, Hamburg Masters, and Wimbledon, where he defeated Andy Roddick. Federer also won the US Open, his first title there, and claimed his first tournament on home soil at the Swiss Open. He finished the year with 11 titles, the most by any player in 2 decades, and a remarkable 74-6 win-loss record. In 2005, Federer maintained his dominance despite setbacks in the Australian Open and French Open, where he lost in the semifinals. He won Wimbledon for the 3rd time and took the US Open, defeating Andre Agassi in his final major. Federer also secured 4 Masters titles and 2 ATP 500 events. He finished the season with 11 titles and a record of 81-4. Federer's 2006 season was statistically his best, winning 12 singles titles with a 92-5 record. He reached the finals in 16 out of 17 tournaments and won 3 Grand Slam titles. His only loss in a Grand Slam final came from Rafael Nadal at the French Open. Federer won 6 Masters finals and finished the year as the world number 1, capping the season with a 29-match winning streak. Federer reached all 4 Grand Slam finals in 2007, winning 3. At the Australian Open, he became the first man since 1980 to win a major without dropping a set, defeating Fernando Gonzalez. He captured his 4th Dubai title, extending his winning streak to 41 matches. And at the Hamburg Masters, Federer ended Nadal's 81-match winning streak on clay. He won Wimbledon for the 5th consecutive year, equaling Bjorn Borg's record. Federer lost to Novak Djokovic in the Canada Masters final, but bounced back to win the Cincinnati Masters. He triumphed at the US Open, defeating Djokovic in the final, moving ahead of Laver and Borg for 3rd on the all-time list of major wins. He also won Basel and the year-end championships in Shanghai, finishing the season as the year-end number 1 for the 4th consecutive year, with a 68-9 record. Federer's 2008 season was affected by mononucleosis. At the Australian Open, he lost to Djokovic in the semifinals, ending his streak of 10 consecutive Grand Slam finals. He also lost to Nadal in the French Open and Wimbledon finals. Despite these setbacks though, Federer and Stan Wawrinka won Olympic gold in doubles. He captured his only Grand Slam title of the year at the US Open, defeating Andy Murray. Federer ended the year ranked number 2, suffering a back injury that led to a disappointing finish at the year-end championships. Federer lost to Nadal in the Australian Open final, but bounced back, defeating Nadal to win the Madrid Masters. In the French Open, he completed his career Grand Slam, defeating Robin Soederling in the final, tying Siet Sampras's record with 14 Grand Slam titles. At Wimbledon, Federer won his 15th Grand Slam title, defeating Andy Roddick in the longest Grand Slam final in terms of games. Federer continued his success with victories at the Cincinnati Masters and another semifinal win over Djokovic at the US Open, although he lost to Juan Martín del Potro in the final. He finished the season as the year number 1 for the 5th time in his career. Federer won his 16th Grand Slam title at the 2010 Australian Open, defeating Andy Murray. This extended his record for major titles and matched Andre Agassi's record of 4 Australian Open titles. However, his dominance at the majors began to wane. He failed to reach the French Open semifinals for the first time since 2004, losing to Robin Soederling. Federer also suffered a shocking quarterfinal loss to Tomasz Berdych at Wimbledon, which dropped him to number 3 in the rankings. He ended the year strong with wins at the Stockholm Open, Swiss Indoors, and the ATP Finals in London, finishing in the top 2 for the 8th consecutive year. Federer's 2011 season was marked by several near misses. He lost to Novak Djokovic in the Australian Open semifinals and was defeated by Rafael Nadal at the French Open final. At Wimbledon, he was ousted by Jo-Wilfried Tsonga in the quarterfinals. Federer again lost to Djokovic in the US Open semifinals after holding match points. However, he finished the year with victories at the Swiss Indoors, Paris Masters, and ATP Finals, concluding the season ranked number 3. Federer began 2012 with a semi-final loss to Nadal at the Australian Open. He then won the Rotterdam Open, Dubai Championships, and Indian Wells Masters. At Wimbledon, he defeated Andy Murray in a 4-set final to win his 7th title, equaling Pete Sampras's record and reclaiming the number 1 ranking. Federer also received a silver medal in the 2012 Olympics, losing to Murray in the final after an epic semi-final win over Juan Martín del Potro. He ended the season with a victory at the Cincinnati Masters, and he reached the finals of the ATP Finals where he lost to Djokovic. In 2013, Federer suffered back injuries in March and July, which caused his ranking to drop from number 2 to number 6. His only title of 2013 came at the Gary Weber Open, defeating Mikhail Yuzny. However, his Wimbledon campaign ended with a second-round loss to Sergei Stakhovsky, marking his first failure to reach a quarterfinal in a Grand Slam since 2003. Federer's back issues continue, leading to early exits in Hamburg and Gstaad. By October, he parted ways with coach Paul Annacone. Later in the year, he hired Stefan Edberg as his co-coach, along with Severin Luthi. Federer reached the Australian Open semifinals in 2014, where he lost to Nadal. He won his 6th Dubai title and reached the Indian Wells final, but lost to Djokovic. Federer and Wawrinka's commitment to the Davis Cup paid off as they led Switzerland to the final, where Federer helped secure the title for the first time in Swiss history. Federer reached a record 9th in Wimbledon finals, but was defeated by Djokovic. At the US Open, he lost in the semifinals to Marin Cilic. He ended the season by winning the Swiss Indoors and the Davis Cup, defeating Richard Gasquet to clinch the title for Switzerland. Federer started the 2015 season by winning his 1,000th career match at the Brisbane International, becoming only the third player in Open-era history to have achieved this. He won his 6th Dubai title and reached the Indian Wells final but lost to Djokovic. In May, he won the Istanbul Open, his first clay set since 2009. At Wimbledon, Federer reached his 10th final but lost to Djokovic in 4 sets. He also won the Cincinnati Masters, beating both Murray and Djokovic, advancing at the US Open final where he lost to Djokovic. Federer concluded the year with a win at the Swiss Indoors, defeating Nadal. He also switched coaches, replacing Stefan Edberg with Ivan Ljubicic. Federer began 2016 by losing in the Brisbane final to Milos Raonic. At the Australian Open, he reached the semifinals before losing to Novak Djokovic. Following the loss, Federer underwent knee surgery in February for a torn meniscus and missed several tournaments. He returned at Monte Carlo, but struggled with injuries throughout the season, withdrawing from the French Open and suffering setbacks in the grass court events. After a Wimbledon semifinal defeat to Raonic, Federer announced he would miss the Olympics and the remainder of the year for recovery, marking his first titleless season since 2000 and ending a 14-year run in the top 10. Federer made a remarkable comeback in 2017, though. After starting the year ranked 17th, he won the Australian Open, defeating Rafael Nadal in the finals for his first Grand Slam title since 2012. He also won titles at the Indian Wells, Miami, and Wimbledon, marking his 8th Wimbledon title and 19th major. He further solidified his return by winning the Shanghai Masters and Swiss Indoors, and played a key role in Team Europe's victory at the inaugural Laver Cup. Federer finished the season with 3 Grand Slam titles. Federer began 2018 with a win at the Hopman Cup and then successfully defended his Australian Open title, claiming his 20th Grand Slam title. He became the oldest world number 1 in February, as a record that he held until 2024. Federer won the Rotterdam Cup in February and was unbeaten until a loss to Juan Martín del Potro in the Indian Wells final. He skipped the clay season again, but regained the number 1 ranking in June after winning Stuttgart. However, he lost in the Wimbledon quarterfinals and to Novak Djokovic in the Cincinnati final. Federer also faced a 4th-round exit at the US Open, but ended the season with a 9th Swiss Indoors title and a semifinal loss at the ATP Finals. Federer began the 2019 season by winning his 3rd Hopman Cup alongside Belinda Bencic, becoming the first player to win the event 3 times. At the Australian Open, he was upset by Stefanos Tsitsipas, and then he won his 100th career singles title at the Dubai Championships, defeating Tsitsipas in the finals. Federer also reached finals in both Indian Wells and Miami. He lost to Indian Wells and won against the Isner. He played his first clay tournament in 3 years, securing his 1,200th career win at the Madrid Open, before then losing to Thiem in the quarterfinals. At the French Open, he reached the semifinals, losing to Nadal. Federer then won his 10th Hale title and reached his record 12th Wimbledon final, where he lost to Djokovic in a historic 5-set match despite having 2 championship points. He finished the year with a title at the Swiss Indoors and a semifinal appearance at the ATP Finals, where he lost to Tsitsipas. Federer's 2020 season was interrupted by a knee injury, requiring 2 surgeries. He missed most of the season, including key tournaments like the French Open and Wimbledon. He made a comeback in 2021, but he struggled with injuries, withdrawing from the French Open and losing early in Hale and Wimbledon. After undergoing another knee surgery, he withdrew from the US Open, hoping for a 2022 return. But in 2022, Federer dropped out of the top 50 and became unranked for the first time in his career. He announced his retirement on the 15th of September 2022, with his final match being a loss in the doubles at the Laver Cup, marking the end of his illustrious career. Federer was a champion, and he always played in the big leagues. Along the way, though, he crossed paths with 2 fan favorites, sparking rivalries that would last for over a decade. Of course, we're talking about Nadal and Djokovic. For those of you who might need a refresher, let's take a quick trip down memory lane. Federer versus Nadal. Federer and Nadal played 40 matches, with Nadal winning 24 and Federer winning 16. Federer had the edge on grass from 3-1 and hard courts 11-9, while Nadal dominated on clay 14-2. They contested 24 finals, including a record 9 major finals, with Nadal winning 6 of these. Their rivalry, spanning from 2004 to 2019, was pivotal in both players' careers. Their final encounter was at the 2019 Wimbledon Championships, where Federer won to reach the final. They held the top 2 ATP rankings from 2005 to 2009 and again from 2017 to 2018, finishing 6 consecutive calendar years at the top. Federer was ranked number 1 for 237 straight weeks, while Nadal, 5 years younger, held number 2 for 160 weeks before surpassing Federer in 2008. They met in every French Open final from 2006 to 2008 and every Wimbledon final during that period, including the 2009 Australian Open, 2011 French Open, and the 2017 Australian Open finals. The 2008 Wimbledon final is widely regarded as one of the greatest matches in tennis history. Federer and Djokovic played 50 times, with Djokovic winning 27 and Federer winning 23. Their rivalry includes 17 Grand Slam meetings, second only to Nadal-Djokovic's 18. Federer won their first Grand Slam final at the 2007 US Open, while Djokovic ended Federer's 28-match win streak at the 2014 Shanghai Open and defeated him in the 2011 US Open by saving 2 match points. They met in 3 Wimbledon finals, 2014, 15, and 19, with Djokovic winning all 3, including a 5-hour thriller in 2019. Djokovic also trumped in the 2015 US Open final, making their rivalry one of the most compelling in the Open era. The Roger Federer Foundation will celebrate its 21st anniversary by December 24th. Federer has always been passionate about giving back. His charity journey began in 2003 when he and his parents founded the Roger Federer Foundation. Looking back, Federer shared that he could never have imagined how fulfilling his work could be. Over the years, his foundation has significantly impacted early education programs for 2.5 million children in Switzerland and 6 South African countries. What started as a small project in Port Elizabeth, South Africa, offering scholarships to children, has now grown to touch the lives of thousands. Federer's work has earned him recognition, including the Arthur Ashe Humanitarian Award in 2006 and 2013. Through his foundation, he's become more than a tennis legend, he's a true changemaker.